Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Zelda II, Resurrection of Ganon, a fan-made hack of Zelda II. Last episode we ended up getting the hammer, and that's going to open up a whole bunch of areas for us, including the first palace, Parapa Palace. Much like the Overworld, the palace layout will be very similar to the base game. There'll be a few changes here and there, but for the most part, if you're familiar with the palaces in the base game, you'll be good with the palaces in this game. So, there won't be any bosses though in the palaces. We're going to have to place a crystal in the statue's eye. We'll notice that those are already done, but instead we're going into the palaces to get magic containers. And the hammer will allow us to do that. Because all the, remember at the end of Zelda, or during Zelda 2, the palace will turn into stone when you put the crystal in it, the statue, and got the item out of it. So, the palaces are all stone here. You can see that on the rock right above. The Medora Palace is up there, the Swamp Palace. It's shown by a big rock. Ooh, more fish. This cave used to have the medicine in it, and the base quest won't really get the medicine until very, very late in the game. The medicine, like the base game, is needed to get the fairy magic, and the fairy magic is required to get to the last palace. The last palace with the last magic jar in it. But we won't have access to that for like a long time, so instead we get access to another heart container. It'll be a while until we get more heart containers though, so. But getting all these heart containers before heading into the palaces, it's a good idea, because even though the palaces are familiar, just like the outside here, the difficulty seems to have been ramped up a little bit. We'll get some tougher enemies. Luckily, the game does provide some ways around some of the tougher enemies, and we'll see that in Parapa Palace when we get there. Let's just keep wandering around. I'm going to head up to the town then to the north, Rudo Town, get the jump spell. If we have enough magic level, we could use the jump spell to get the downward thrust before we get into one of the palaces. But it's not essential to beat the first palace. So we'll just wait until we get that magic container. It'll help minimize some backtracking, although there will be some backtracking in this game. Some of it necessary, some of it because just to keep myself from dying. Sometimes I'll retreat out of a palace just for safety. Although the game is very generous with its one-ups. I have 3 right now, 3 lives, but there's going to be a bunch of areas where you can get the one-up dolls. You can have a max of 9 lives in reserve. And we'll have times when we will have 9 lives in reserve and still get a 1-up. So the game is nice. I guess it realizes the increased difficulty, so they give you like enough lives to. Another thing happens that we won't see here is in the base game, if you are defeated and get a game over, you restart the game with 0 experience. For this hack here, you retain all the experience. You don't lose all your experience upon continue. So that's another way the game kind of, I guess, is a little easier but a little hard, while being hard at the same time. So that's here in Rudo Town. They say Ganon's eyes are everywhere. Once again, another abandoned town. Drink from the fountain. As you can see, the graph of the fountain changes once you drink from it. The water no longer flows. If you want to refill, you have to leave the town again, which you will do in future episodes. Sometimes we'll use the towns as just refresher points. Welcome, Link. I will grant you the ability to get very high. And we get the jump spell. There's we need that jump spell, like I said, to get the downward thrust, because in Mido Town, where the downstab is, there is a big wide pit that you have to jump across. You can only make with a jump spell. Well, you can make it with another spell too. There's a spell called the dash spell. It replaces the reflex spell. And that makes you run really fast, so you can get further distance on a vertical jump. Luckily, there's no jumps in the game where there's no jumps in a game that you need both the dash and the jump to make. So they're talking about a dragon in a garden. We're going to get more clues about the dragon and the garden, and those are clues that all lead us back to the Northern Palace. North Palace is the palace that where Zelda is in the base game. In this game, it's a separate palace that you can get another magic container in. But you wouldn't know that, like I said, just starting off. But enough clues are given that says that, hey, that's a different palace. Once you get to the eastern continent, the one town mainly just basically spells it out. It basically says that, uses that clue there, basically saying, about the gardens is where dragons be born. They'll basically say that the dragon, Barbaro, who is the guardian of the Sixth Palace, is alive. And then they'll say that the gardens of the North Palace have a lot of experience in them. So you're putting all those little clues together. And you tell them, hey, maybe I should go check out the Northern Palace. You do that, like I said, you're rewarded with the last magic container. This Garai is making things difficult on us. But this is an example of, once again, we can just stop at the town to heal ourselves up. Wuru Town, that's the first town. Because we're going to be heading near there anyway, on our way to Palace 1. Palaces, like I said, are very similar to the ones in Zelda 2, the base game. So they don't usually take too long to go through. More of the game is seen to be spent on just preparing for the palaces, exploring the overworld and getting items. Palaces, some are tricky, aren't the main time consumer of the game. These spiders to come down. Nope. I'm gonna head to the cave and make our way up to Parapa Palace, which used to be a desert in the base game. So I guess one area has improved, I guess, from the coast of the land. Let's head on up. We head to the south now to where there used to be a hard container. Now it's just a point bag. But we're not going to go that way south because there's no reason to go there. Like I said, it's just a point bag. And it actually is a shortcut to Mito Town, where we're going to go to next after Palace 1. So you'll see how they made that into a shortcut. So we're going to see that the palaces are a little dilapidated. There's been some changes in the palaces. This one, not so much. Palace 2, though, is totally flooded. Palace 3, I don't really know, there's, like, it's ruined, a bunch of damage to it. Palace 4 is basically like a cave, the Island Palace. Palace 6 is covered in sand from the desert, and then Palace 5 is slightly altered. It's like a overgrown room. So some of the previous passages that used to be able to go into are no longer. They're blocked off by foliage. So it's a different route through the palace. I just went to the left here to gain some experience. Normally there's a key over there, but like I said, things have changed the layout wise. Just gotta be careful with those snakes because when you step on the elevator, it pushes your character up a little bit. So there's potential that they can get hit. You can see the palace is starting to be reclaimed by the wilderness. Grass is growing on the ground. That's a nice little thing to the aesthetic of the palace. You got a nice point bag there. Ooh, this guy's back. Guy who throws the maces. A devil-looking enemy. Now an enemy we don't want to see is over to the right here. We have a blue Iron Knuckle in Palace 1, but luckily the game provides a way to get around him safely. Notice that Wolfman, he walked through the wall over there on the right. So yeah, there's a false wall, just like in Palace 5 and Zelda 2, and then the second quest, the original Legend of Zelda. So there's a point bag. We can't get it now, but we'll be able to get it very shortly. We were told that the glove was last seen in Parapa, and the glove being the power glove that allows you to break blocks. So instead of the candle being in Palace 1, we got the candle in the Overworld. We will get the glove in Palace 1 here. Palace 3 gave us the raft in the base game. Palace 2 will give us the raft in this game, so a lot of stuff is kind of shifted around a little bit. Red Iron Knuckle, much tougher than the yellow one, but at least they're not the blue one throwing swords. But now we've got the power glove, we can go get that point bag, and the power glove will also allow us to make progress in Palace 2. Let's get that thingy there. This snake is annoying because he takes more than one hit. You gotta hit him and basically stun him. And we'll just ignore that bot. He's only worth 2 experience points. We can crack the rocks, and the point bag will fall down. And let's heal our life up. We're very close to getting that attack 2000. So, actually, sometimes the key is, you know, using the refills, the level ups as refills. So I'm gonna have to go up and get. So we're gonna see the bubbles odd behavior over here, that they can just kind of bounce weird. Let's just take this one out, finish it off. Yeah, we'll see sometimes they can bounce in the middle of their patterns. So yeah, instead of going through that blue Iron Knuckle, there he is. We can just go around the other way. So see, he just turned in the middle of falling down there. So very annoying. Also annoying that they hit you and make you lose magic. Magic is very, very important. No fairy over here, but we get some more experience. There'll be a fairy in Palace 2 though. Yeah, hey, we got our attack level 5. Now we're going to be more averaging our stats out a little bit here. Start getting some more magic and life. That dragon head has fallen off the wall there. Another example of room in the game. Yeah, heading over this way because just like in the base game, we have to get another key to unlock the passageway on the bottom. You get to the end of the palace. Another Iron Knuckle. And a point bag. It's always good to get them. Pot bag, also good. Nope, nothing in that Iron Knuckle. There we go. Some of the statues have pots in them. We saw that at the beginning of the labyrinth. The openings, the entrance statue had a pot in it. Let's keep on heading back now. We're basically on the way to the end here. We can head over to the right and now that we have the key to unlock a door over here. Take this guy out. Another one of the fallen statue heads. Good thing is, you know, there's no real bosses in the palaces. Let's get some magic. It's, like I said, it's time to even out the stats a little bit here. Magic will help reduce the jump spell, even though we're all getting the next magic container. It'd be far too long to get that 3000 for the attack. We're pretty strong for attack right now. So, a little hasty there. Just finish this guy off. Sometimes there will be a monster here kind of guarding the thing, but most of the time you just ignore them. Well, it's not really a tough monster. Right now we got a Stalfos. Sometimes you get an Iron Knuckle. And then we get our first magic container. Like I said, that'll allow us to make the jump in Meadow Town to get the downward thrust. The danger enemy. Yellow Moblins throwing spears. So here's a new shortcut. In the base game, this just led to a dead end where there was a heart container. Here it's going to lead to a pea bag in the forest, but there's going to be a passageway to the south. Now that we have the hammer, we can open up, and that'll take us down to Meadow Town by the graveyard. Just be careful that the Octoroks shoot their rocks. This game uses a lot more platforming. You'll see that especially in some of the future dungeons. There'll be some areas where you do a lot of platforming. Jumping from little platform to little platform. Makes you almost feel like Mario. Guess they did that because the fairy spell you won't be able to get until the very end of the game. So a lot of rooms that used to be able to use fairy to fly across, you now have to, they put like platforms in it to jump across. Moblin, they can occasionally throw their spears. A point bag. As you can see, the game is pretty generous, especially at the beginning here with the amount of point bags it gives you. Because you're not getting that massive boon of experience at the end of each palace. Just get into a little fight here. I want to gain some, gain a magic bottle. I think I need a little bit more magic. I need 24. Each of the little squares of magic represents 16 points of magic. And I need 24 for the jump spell, even with that magic level 3, so there we now have 32, and I can make this jump here. They say Impa roams the land. We saw Impa already. I saw her last next to a king. So yeah, go down to the king's tomb. That's where Impa is. I didn't get, there's a 1-up doll to the southwest of the king's tomb, but I'll get that later because we're gonna have to come back this way. You can't reach that passageway to the south of the king's tomb. It's blocked off, so you can't go that way to get to Palace 3, the base game Palace 3. You're gonna need the boots, the water walk boots. So we're gonna have to come over this way after exploring the eastern continent. And this guy, we don't have the jump spell to get up into the upper floor. He's actually in the bottom of the church. He needs just a down stab. There we go. That would have helped out nicely in Death Mountain. That'll help out good in Palace 2, because we're going to start running into these those Muai enemies. The guys that are so tiny you can't hit them even crouching down. You have to use the downward thrust to defeat them. So here's this ghost lady. Please, my daughter is sick. Help her. She's the one we need to bring the medicine to. It's I guess the only quest that's kind of similar from the base game. But you won't get that medicine until, like I said, near the end of the game. So to console her spirit, find medicine. Where? It's going to tell us basically in a palace surrounded by the sea, far east. And that's the 5th palace in the game. Which basically comes with, still is like the 5th palace in this game too. But that's it for this episode. I'll see you in the next episode where we head to Palace 2. Have a good day. Bye.